So let's see, it's about 1973. My parents probably knew I had hearing loss because my mother has hearing loss, and they're used to the signs. I was never a bad student. I was a good little girl who did everything, so they never suspected much in the sense I wasn't like I was a bad student or talked back to anybody. It kind of went with the flow. I also didn't have a huge hearing loss, and it was more like probably mild. But by the time I got to third grade in 1973, they started testing us in the school systems. And they tested us in the school system. And I remember the person who was testing us, and I don't know if it was just a volunteer or a nurse or audiologist, I really don't remember. But I remember they said, raise your hand when you hear the beep. And so I did what they said. And of course, there were tones I didn't hear. I have a genetic hearing loss. It's like a cookie bite curve. And so I heard good on some, good on this end of the map, and not so good in the middle of the map. And so then they got a little mad and said, oh, I wasn't being cooperative. Raise your hand when you hear all the beeps. And so I was like, all right. And then I started going like this to every single one. And then she got really mad because, then I was absolutely not cooperating. And so I was like, well, I didn't know what to do at that point. I'm a third grader. I'm a little girl. And I did the test right first, but they didn't like how I did it. So, of course, I got a note sent home to my parents saying that, your daughter didn't do the test right. You might want to get her tested somewhere else. And they brought me to St. Clair's Hospital I think it's in Denville, New Jersey, or Dover, one of those two. And we lived in New Jersey. And I went in there, and I remember the audiologist, and I remember it was a very little booth. And she was so nice, and she told me what to do, and I did exactly what she said. And she said, your daughter has a cookie bite hearing loss, which is just, like I said, it comes down in a cookie bite. And like you took a bite of a cookie, where the middle of the map, the mid frequencies are always your lowest point, and then the high frequencies and the low frequencies are usually pretty fairly good until you get older, and then they all stink. But back then, what ended up happening is they fit me with one hearing aid on my left ear. I probably needed two, but the comfort zone of maybe me or my parents, and my mother had a hearing loss, but she was not wearing hearing aids at that point. And so they got me one, and I would wear it in school. And that was it.